Pre-travel tests are to be scrapped in Thailand, opening the night entertainment once again, and the 4 phases that Thailand will use to call an endemic. That's all coming up on today's Good Morning Thailand on St. Patrick's Day. Hello and welcome to Good Morning Thailand, brought to you by Coffee Culture and Twin Palms Residences Montezor, presented by Tim Newton and Jay on St. Patrick's Day.
Just got to keep my microphone in the right place. Hello.
Hello.
Both of us forgot to wear green today.
Yes.
So we found out about, well, we didn't find out. I think I saw it this morning, thought, oh, I must mention that. But yeah, we both forgot to wear green.
Yeah.
But the plant didn't forget.
Henrietta representing.
So Henrietta celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
So it's the day where everybody is just a little bit Irish, except for the Scottish. They're still Scottish.
Yeah. So happy St. Paddy's Day to all of you out there, whoever celebrate. I only realized it was St. Paddy's Day because of Carmel.
And why?
Because she reminded me.
Oh, okay. There's nothing very Irish about Carmel.
Yeah.
So I don't think Ireland was even a country when Carmel was born.
Yeah.
So long ago.
Yeah.
There are Irish pubs in just about every city in Thailand. They're still quite popular.
Yeah. And for some reason, I don't know if Mulligan's is a famous brand, but they're always called like Mulligan's or O'Shea or something like that.
Yeah. I went to one the other day. I know we're sort of diverging a bit, as we do.
Yeah.
Timestamps will avoid that. So I went one place, an Irish pub, I won't mention it. It's in Secundit Road. And it had out the front corned beef. I thought, oh, I loved corned beef.
Okay. Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought, oh, nice big thick slabs of slices of corned beef and peas and carrots and mashed potato. That sounds fantastic. So I went inside and it ended up as like a sort of looked like a Thai stir fry with bits of brown stuff, which I assumed was the corned beef, but I was so disappointed. Paid about 350 baht for it as well. Wasn't very impressed.
Well, how dare you go into an Irish pub and get corned beef instead of a nice old Guinness?
Well,
That's on you.
yeah.
That's on you.
I don't drink, so
All right, well,
that's a bit hard.
Allegedly.
No, it's true.
It is true. It is true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like Tim mentioned earlier, we do have timestamps where you can skip to the part where we talk about news. Let's get on with it, Tim. First news today, some good news. It's an overall positive day full of news today.
Except when we're about to troll the Bangkok Post a bit later. But
Oh, yeah, true.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, some juice coming up. Pre-travel tests set to be scrapped in Thailand. Hooray, it's good news.
yeah, I think obviously that at some stage all these restrictions and even the Thailand pass, we hope, are going to sort of vanish. But it just seems to be like pulling fingernails out. It's so slow and tortuous.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't do it. It always has to be in a meeting. So there will be a meeting tomorrow with the CCSA where they're going to basically discuss 3 important, well, actually 4 in total, but I'm going to start with the first 3, which is firstly being pre-travel test to be scrapped. So you don't need to do a PCR test 72 hours before you travel to Thailand. Secondly being a possible lifting of the mask mandate.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it won't be everywhere. It'll be in selected locations.
Areas.
Can we go back to your point number 1?
Yes, quickly.
Okay.
And the last one being a reduction in the amount of insurance you need from moving the minimum from 20,000 to 10,000.
Okay. Well, that was up at, 50,000 at the start of the year, so it has come down a lot.
Yeah. So let's start with the pre-travel test to be scrapped.
Yeah, you had a point about that
Yes.
it just seemed a little bit non-intuitive.
Yes, it's a nice step, but what really needs to go is the arrival PCR test, because I think it's better to know you're positive with COVID before you travel than you arrive in Thailand, you test positive, and then you're shipped off to a hotel. So what really needs to happen is they should have done the opposite. Like, do the PCR test 72 hours before. When you come to Thailand, you're here, enjoy.
Oh, given the percentage of people who arrive and then test positive is very, very low, I think you're right. And also, it's just that once you're on the plane, you sort of want to get to your destination and enjoy
Just
wherever
let
you go.
loose. You've made it. You finally made it to the land of
I'm not
smiles.
sure if you want to let loose, but
Well,
let
depends
looser.
who you are.
But I think you're right. It seems an odd test to remove.
Yeah.
But then again, the cynical perhaps would suggest that if they removed the on-arrival PCR tests, some people in Thailand wouldn't be making money.
Yes. Well, oh well.
Only the cynical would suggest that, though.
Surely very soon the arrival test will also leave. There's actually a 4-phase plan for that. More on that very soon. However, before I continue talking about that, now officials will discuss this once again, like I said, tomorrow in the meeting, Friday meeting with the CCSA. Chaired by the Prime Minister.
He's always the
there.
chair of the double CSA.
Yeah.
The CSA is basically set up under the emergency decree.
Yeah.
And it is sort of the advisory body. We call them the COVID czars.
Yeah, and this was all pushing towards, COVID-19 being declared an endemic in Thailand. So
By about July.
That's
Yeah.
right. The mask mandate, by the
Yeah.
way, it also is a topic for tomorrow. It might be lifted, and if it is, it's probably going to start in zones as well.
More zones. We need more zones.
By zones, I mean like specific places as well, like public parks, for example. That's one of the first places
Maybe
they're looking to
beaches.
open. Well, definitely beaches.
Of
It doesn't
course.
make sense to wear a mask on the beach. I mean, the horror. I was wearing a mask when I was doing Vox Pop at Patong Beach. I almost died.
Well, I think no one's been arrested for taking their mask off on the beach, even if officially you're meant to wear one.
Yeah.
But I think there's been a certain amount of common sense in that regard. But I mean, if they were to start removing some of the masks, they're not really mask mandates. It's a request under the
It's not by law,
not by a codified Thai law.
It's not illegal to not wear a mask.
But it is listed under the emergency decree as some of the provisions to some of the restrictions.
it's frowned upon.
So it's very frowned upon. But I mean, if they can clarify if there are to be some zones like outside or something like that, I think people would appreciate some movement in that direction.
Yep. More good news, Tim. Now the CCSA will go further, and another topic they will be discussing tomorrow is opening the night entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, is it possible? Is it happening?
Well, it's high time, because I think probably the industry that's suffered more than anybody else,
Yes.
apart from hotels generally, is Thailand's nightlife.
Yes.
And they've been lobbying so hard. I know people like Brian Flowers down in Pattaya has been, they've organised protests and they've written letters and they've lobbied and they've discussed until, Brian's heartily sick of the whole thing. But I'm sure a lot of nightlife owners right around the country will be happy to get their establishments open.
All right. Now I've got some opinions and comments from different sectors of the entertainment district. Firstly, starting in a Patong entertainment representative, he thanked the government and asked for help. He said that please support us as well if you are going to open us. It's not going to be as easy as just, you're allowed to open now. Help promote us, help support us. Another representative from Khao San in Bangkok went on to say that hey, great, it's going to be great that pubs, bars, and karaoke venues will be allowed to open. This is going to be great for travelers. This is going to be great for tourists, as well as locals living in Thailand. And lastly, from the entertainment venue representatives, they said that please allow singers and performers, many different type of performers, to resume work, and also concerts to open. So if you're going to do it properly, please.
I think when it comes to the nightlife, I mean, people know that in the hot spots, places like Khao San Road and Pattaya and Bangla Road and Phuket, a lot of those places are already fairly well open with few restrictions. Certainly no one's really wearing masks around. We got to witness a very busy area of Pattaya last Thursday night.
Yes.
And that was certainly quite busy around the Soi Buakau area.
That's right.
And what was the town? The Tree Town.
Tree Town.
So that particular area was very busy. So we got to witness it pretty firsthand. We weren't there at 11 p.m. We don't think it would have automatically just closed down. So there has been a certain amount of relaxation. But officially, if they can get all the nightlife open, I think that will be appreciated.
Right.
Maybe the local constabulary won't be... No, I can't say that. So I won't.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an answer to the people the people who've been asking, when will Thailand get rid of all of its restrictions? There is a plan, a 4-phase plan. Would you like to know?
There's a place for all of us. There's a time. How are you going with this?
4 phases to call COVID-19 an endemic. Now, I read this and I was like, all right, seems like a reasonable plan. Here's the plan.
So slow, though.
It is very slow. Now, look, we're currently in the first phase, which is between March 12th and
frustration
early April.
and...
No, it's called flattening the infection curve. The Thailand pass and restrictions, how they are right now, we are currently in the first phase. Now, the second phase is what they're going to be discussing tomorrow, which is called as the plateau, which will be during April and May. This is to stabilize the level of infections.
Whoa. Can I
yes.
just stop you there?
Yes.
So the Thai government
Yes.
are deciding when the curve will flatten. They're making this decision, are they? The virus has got nothing to do with it.
Let's just call the flatten the curve.
So what happens if the curve doesn't happen? Or are the Thai government going to just make sure it flattens whether you like it or not?
Well,
I just think that's a rather bold thing to say. We're going
it
to
is a bold
flatten the
thing.
curve.
But they're always bold with their statements. Is it going to happen? We're going to have to wait and see. But like always, there's a plan. At least they have a plan. I'm surprised that they've actually come out and said, "Hey, this is what's going to happen." So all right. So to continue, the second phase, which is a plateau, this will have a fully vaccinated tourists enter without an RTC PCR test, and they must take an RT-PCR test upon arrival, and an antigen test.
This is where we are at the moment.
Yeah, an antigen test on day 5.
On day 5, yes.
So
self-administered.
the second phase allows the initial RT-PCR test before travel to be scrapped. The third phase, called declining.
Can I ask people out there if they have arrived in Thailand under the Thailand pass and they've had to do this would be like just the last couple of weeks, and they've been told to do a voluntary, well, it's not voluntary, you have to do it, but you do it by yourself, a self-administered ATK test.
Yeah.
Did you, or did you just go, nah, I'm not going to bother? And were you told that you had to upload it onto More Chana or one of the apps? Anybody out there who's been through that, be very interested to hear. I'm sure a lot of people would go, I'm not going to bother.
Right.
But
the third phase, this is where things get exciting, ladies and gentlemen. It's called the declining.
I'll hold on.
Now, between late May and June the 30th, this is they're aiming to reduce the daily number of new infections to 1,000 to 2,000. Again, how they're going to do this and if this is going to happen, we don't know.
Sort of up to the virus. It's called The Declining.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bad B-grade movie. The Declining.
Anyways, in the third phase, fully vaccinated tourists can enter without any requirements. Unvaccinated tourists need to do an antigen test upon arrival. That's pretty cool. Test and go scheme will be scrapped, but Thailand Pass will remain. These rules will be enforced should infections be detected in less than 1% of tourist arrivals.
Okay, well, we're sort of getting down that rate already.
Yes.
I just think they're basically saying these are the dates that we're going to hit for these particular milestones without any regard to what's happening with Omicron or any other variants that may or may not come along, or how the Omicron will continue to behave. Thank you very much, Chai, for not turning off your phone.
Shocking behaviour.
He feels bad. His head's down, he's wandered off.
It's okay, Shai, we love you. The last phase is called post-pandemic. From July 1st, hopefully, we will see the COVID-19 pandemic downgraded to an endemic. And tourists can enter the country regardless of whether they are vaccinated or not.
It's, again,
freedom for all.
Just amazing how the Thai government can just magically announce dates when a virus is going to be endemic. Carmel.
Yes, Deeman said that the plan is to ensure that the plan is planned in the planning phase, whilst the initial plan is planned to plan.
Well, there you go. I think that says it all.
Well said. Well said, good sir.
Oh, just a note, completely random here at the moment, but just while I remember, because I'll forget otherwise, a big thank you to our volunteer moderators on Thailand Talk, which is our official
Thaiger
forum.
Talk.
Sorry.
Thaiger Talk.
Maybe we should rename it Thailand Talk.
It should be called Thailand Talk.
Thaiger Talk, which is our forum. And you can any article on the Thaiger.com at the bottom. There's you can go and comment. But the moderators do a fantastic job. There's 5 of them, and they are all volunteers, and they do a really difficult task very well. And there's a system, and they've got rules and guidelines, but we do appreciate your work. Thank you very much to Rob and the gang. We're having another meeting next few days. Thank you. So I've got that out of the way.
On that note, let me take a quick break. Once we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about some controversy regarding the Russian ambassador and Bangkok Post, as well as a fun story regarding dogs in Thailand.
Yeah, that's a nice story.
If you're a dog lover, stay tuned for that. And of course, 2 Minutes Thailand with Nan. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. What a refreshing break.
Like that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this moment to thank Coffee Culture. Thank you, Coffee Culture, for sponsoring the show. 18 different roasters and 200 different types of coffee that you can buy at coffeeculture.asia.
You do know that we've got a crisis in the office.
Do we?
Our coffee machine has
yes.
gone. So
no.
coffeeculture.asia aside, and their magnificent coffee and all the bags and the different varieties, we can't grind them because our machine has gone. Our faithful machine.
It's been difficult this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of us going up and down the lift, heading out to coffee places to get our caffeine fix.
And then sometimes life is difficult.
It's very difficult.
But if you want an easy life and a comfortable life, you can purchase properties with Twin Palms Residences Montezor.
On Kamala Beach.
That's right, because some people like the best in life and look no further than Twin Palms Residences Montezor.
Thank you, Montezor, for supporting the Thaiger.
Right. Kamal, you've got a quick comment.
Yes, Chocolate Man in Thailand said that we can't see the cups because of the enslaved plant.
Enslaved plant.
The coffee culture cups.
There you go. How's that?
It's blocked even more.
Oh.
It's out of the frame even more. You have to put it all the way back.
We have to move it back.
Guys,
There.
that's what breaks are for.
Sorry.
I'll move Henrietta to the side.
Right.
She's been sidelined.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for 2 Minutes Thailand, where you get to learn about different aspects of Thailand and Thai culture with Nan. Today we're going to be talking about Lod Chong, Singapore. Lod Chong, Singapore.
There we go. Thanks, Norm.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Today I will show you a dessert called Lod Chong, Singapore, but you can't find in Singapore because it is originally from Thailand. Lod Chong is a delicious, unique dessert which is common in Southeast Asia. Some people believe that it originated in Indonesia or Malaysia, which is called chendol. However, it is widely popular in Thailand, Burma, Vietnam, and Singapore. The common ingredients in Lod Chong is coconut milk in the shape of a stick with green jelly, usually made from pandan leaves and rice flour. Each country will add different toppings into their dessert. For example, in Thailand, we put Thai melons, triangle glutinous rice, or jackfruit. But in Malaysia, they prefer to put red beans and brown sugar. It was adapted from Lod Chong by using different flour to make green jelly. Lod Chong is made by using rice flour, but Lod Chong Singapore is made by using tapioca flour, which makes the dough more sticky compared to the original. The name was not taken from Singapore. This dish was created by a restaurant called Singapore Pochana, which is located in front of the Singapore Cinema on Yaowarat Road, Bangkok in 1961, when the dessert became well-known and widespread all around Thailand. People called it Lod Chong Singapore, the name coming from its origin of the restaurant. You must try Lod Chong Singapore once in your lifetime. I bet you will fall in love with it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you learnt something about Lod Chong, Singapore.
I'm not sure if any desserts should have anything green in them.
Why?
Yeah.
It does look slightly scary, doesn't it?
It does look very scary.
I was a bit, oh, should I be eating this when I first saw it? But
Lod Chong.
once you taste it, it does taste quite nice.
Yeah, as I've said in the past, and I have a great amount of respect for Thai culture, but one thing they don't do particularly well, in my eyes, is desserts.
How dare you?
So I'm not a great fan. I'll give that a try though. because
Mango
if-
sticky rice, possibly one of the best desserts in the world.
Happy to have the mango, but putting the mango on the rice doesn't do it for me.
Thai
But
mango is one of the best mangoes ever.
Sure, I've got a house with 4 mango trees.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, oh yes, 4 mango trees, which all the locals come and invade.
Oh,
just,
do they?
Just sitting there inside.
Yeah.
Local walks in and just goes and
Well,
climbs
inside
up
your
the
house?
tree. Yes,
Really?
sure.
Okay.
We're all happy.
All
We're all
right.
good neighbours.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me give
I
a
could
quick-
probably sell them and
Probably could.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you wanted to sell them, you could contact Thai Farmer Ben because he's a Thaiger member. Thank you for supporting the channel.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
All right. As well as, I finally got the picture that I was supposed to show yesterday
Oh.
of Thaiger and Thaiger.
Tiger and Tiger.
Rob Roy. Here's the picture. This is Thaiger painting with
Next to Tiger.
Next to Tiger. And he gave us a little information. He said Tiger Woods, that's a photo of him with a mounted golf ball signed by the legend himself, encased in a nice timber frame.
Lovely.
So good on you, Rob Roy.
So we're very happy to take pride of place on your wall, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. All
And if
right.
anybody else has got a tiger painting, I think we've sold, I don't know, about 25 of them, then take a photo, send it in, and we'll be happy to discuss where you've put it. There it is there, the tiger painting. You can get that at thetiger.com, thetiger.com/shop. And if it's going to go overseas, then we'll contact you and organise the shipping details. Shipping overseas is very expensive at the moment.
Yes, it
Have you
is.
noticed that?
Yes.
The oil prices, everything's kicking up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to address a poll we did yesterday. Now, we asked a question specifically to expats, and everyone else was welcome to add their thoughts in the comments section. And we asked them, if you live or work somewhere else in Thailand, please comment below, I live or work in. So basically, we wanted to know, where do the expats in Thailand live and work?
Or, yes.
The options were Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, Chiang Mai, and Koh Samui, because we only were allowed to have 5 options, so I apologize to any expats in other areas. Now, majority of the people, with 37%,
Not surprisingly.
37% said Bangkok. Capital city, metropolitan, makes sense.
12 million people?
25% said Pattaya.
That was,
I was a bit surprised with that.
Sure, but given the response we had when we were down there last Thursday and Friday,
Yeah.
maybe we shouldn't be surprised. A lot of our expat viewers are down there.
Another shock, 16% in third place was Chiang Mai.
Yes, again, a little bit surprised.
Fourth place, 13%, Phuket. That's why I was surprised. I thought Phuket would be second or third at least.
Yeah, you're just Phuket-centric, though,
Yeah.
because you're from... Well, actually, we're all from
I'm an
Phuket.
island boy.
Yes, you are.
What am I going to do?
What was last?
Koh Samui. That's not really a surprise. It's a bit more expensive. It's, far away from everywhere else.
But some people complain that we should have listed Isan as the 5th choice rather than Koh Samui.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, Chai, that that's not your phone.
2 strikes.
Unbelievable.
2 strikes.
3 strikes and you're out the window, and we're on the 17th floor. So, we acknowledge that. And a lot of people, they said that they were from different parts of Isan, from Hua Hin, from southern Thailand, and I mean, there's a lot of different places. But we acknowledge that it wasn't a scientific poll. We were just sort of half interested where some of you were from. And some people then said, I'm not going to tell you, you're just tracking my location. So, you use these absurd anonymous names and usernames. I mean, how the hell can we possibly track you?
And why would we want to?
Yes, yes.
I want to track this person.
Some of you I'd probably like to track, but that's another story.
All
but we
right.
can't.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for a little controversy.
Oh,
Before
yes.
we end on a high note, let's talk about the Russian ambassador, what's alleged to be Russian propaganda, and how the Bangkok Post slightly got it wrong, or got it wrong completely.
So the Russian ambassador called a media conference, which he has the right to do, the Russian ambassador to Thailand. And the Bangkok Post turned up with their camera and they live streamed the full 90-minute event. A lot of media companies wanted to go, but they were told they couldn't, that there wasn't enough room. Well, there clearly was enough room from the photos I've seen, but then again, the Thai authorities said COVID and social distancing, so you can't go in there. So the Russian ambassador pretty much went unchallenged for 90 minutes. And a lot of people have said to the Bangkok Post, that's just not good enough.
Yes.
And they said a lot of what the Russian ambassador said was pretty much pushing the Russian Federation's line on the whole thing. And of course, a lot of that is, well, their version of the truth and their version of why they believe they were able to invade a sovereign country, being Ukraine. But his comments went entirely unchallenged. And just listening to some of what he said, and he was speaking in English, he was bumbling and he wasn't really lucid. Some of what he said was just clearly nonsense. But the Bangkok Post has been slammed, not only by Coconuts, who wrote an article about it, but also a lot of the commenters. Some of the comments, and this is a comment on the Bangkok Post live stream. Just curious, are these Russian diplomats natural-born liars, or are they getting some sort of how-to-lie training? Another one said, pure lies, all you as Ukrainians. It's offensive that the Bangkok Post supports this. Allowing this person to speak freely like this without verification or fact-checking is gutter journalism. My goodness, my ears are bleeding. Bangkok Post, what are you doing? You get the theme.
Yeah.
Bangkok Post should be sanctioned for promoting such obviously false propaganda. Well, we've got our thoughts about this.
Let's start with the first question. Did Bangkok Post do anything wrong by,
Live streaming.
live streaming and putting this video out unedited, unfiltered? What do you think?
Well, they basically set up a camera and just live streamed it. They didn't actually ask any questions.
Yeah.
Or they didn't challenge the Russian ambassador when he made comments. Neither did the other apparently invited people in the room.
Well, they were told to be polite.
Yeah. So I think this is a bit of a problem. But the Russian ambassador to Thailand is well entitled to call a media conference, and the media are allowed to turn up if they've been invited. And then if they're not allowed to get into the room, I think that's a problem. But the Bangkok Post also have the right to broadcast the live stream. Now, the fact that they didn't perhaps put a contextual description on the video, or then follow it up with, here are some things which we would like to ask the Russian ambassador, or fact-check some of it, that would have perhaps been useful context as well. But for Bangkok Post, sort of the publisher of note here in Thailand, they're the main English language publisher, to do this sort of pretty much unfettered, I think was a bad move. But they were certainly well entitled to broadcast the conference.
They had the right to be there. And, freedom of press, freedom of speech, everyone's entitled to their own opinions and comments. But, that's what I felt. As the biggest news media outlet in Thailand, and, Bangkok Post being there.
The publisher of record.
Yeah. It was, I felt, in my opinion, it was their duty to challenge any false statements that were made, to fact check them, and also ask some challenging questions and challenge the ambassador. They just sat there with their cameras in front, and if not during, at least after, they could have made a video or written a statement out.
Put it in context.
Yeah, and checked all the statements, fact checked them, and present a proper summary of what really took place. I think that's where they fell short and disappointed a lot of people.
Kamal.
Yes, Damien Jesser said that there are snowflakes everywhere. I think this is the people reacting in the live stream. And he called them snowflakes.
And look, a lot of people have said, the Bangkok Post, and they shouldn't have done this, and Russia's bad. We get that, but those people are exercising their free speech.
Yeah.
And on this case, the Bangkok Post's Facebook page. But, it's all very well to cry freedom of speech, but then if you then are denying the Russian ambassador his opportunity to tell his version of the truth, then I think we've also got a
Yeah.
problem. I mean, freedom of speech is not just a one-sided thing.
You don't have to agree with what he's saying.
Of course not.
And even if he's not speaking the facts, that's his choice. But I guess the problem lies in why didn't they do something? The fact that they did take the video, but they didn't fact check it. They didn't make
It's
a
got
point.
12,000 views and 235 thumbs up and thumbs down, mostly thumbs down, and like lots of comments, about 300 different comments, of which I just picked 5 out. Carmel.
West Texas Greg says that by allowing this guy to speak, they have allowed the people to decide for themselves. It's a fine line between legitimately challenging statements and acting like an attorney questioning a witness.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. We should also mention that the Ukrainian ambassador to Thailand is holding a media conference tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure that will get a lot of attention as well.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of attention will go to who is allowed to enter the room, and it will be interesting to see if the Bangkok Post publishes a stream of that particular event as well.
All right. Our last topic for today is regarding dogs. Ladies and gentlemen, let's end the video today on a high.
This is a good story.
Yes. Color-coded collars for stray dogs.
Say that quickly, 3 times.
Color-coded collars. Color-coded collars. Color-coded collars.
Oh, yeah, okay. It was easier than I thought.
For stray dogs to indicate friendliness. Now, everybody knows who's lived in Thailand, expats, locals, tourists, that you might notice that there's a lot of stray dogs
Soy dogs.
in Thailand. And depending on where you're from, they roam free, and some of them can be a bit aggressive.
Like any range of dogs, you're going to get some that are happier and some that are more aggressive.
That's right.
I have to say that in the 20 years I've been visiting Thailand, and over the last 11 years that I've been living here, that I see a lot fewer soy dogs than I did in the past. Around here, I don't see any.
I don't see any as well.
Don't
yeah.
see
Very
any
few.
at all.
Yeah.
I remember I used to when I used to go to MBK and around that main intersection, I don't know why I'm pushing, that's where it is over there, that there used to be quite a lot of soy dogs there. It didn't particularly bother me. It was like part of the sort of the vibe of Bangkok. Down in Phuket, there's the Soy Dog Foundation who have gone out of their way, and on an island, of course, it's much easier to control, to capture the dogs, neuter them, what's the word? So get them healthy, and then set them back free.
Rehabilitate.
Then they'd go back to either they get rehomed or they go back to where they were. So they go back to their homes and they don't make new little dogs. And that's worked in Phuket. So the soy dog situation has improved by about 90% there, as they sort of have a strong control. So congratulations to Soy Dog Foundation, who we support at the Thaiger. But this story I thought was a really great idea. I hope it catches on.
A man called Ning Natapong, who is from Samut Songkhram, he's basically come up with an idea to put color-coded collars on stray dogs, so that depending on the color code, you can see whether they're friendly or not. Some dogs can be aggressive, some dogs are extremely friendly, and some dogs will only come to you if they know you. And they also have QR codes on their collar, so if they are friendly, you can actually scan the QR code and find the dog's name and a little bit of story behind the dog. It's quite cute.
It's a great idea, and this is only like a very localised market. The province is pretty much between Bangkok and Hua Hin, and just at one market. But this guy, he's gone out and he's got these dogs neutered, got them checked, and he's sort of done a bit of a quick triage as to the personalities of the dogs and given them red, yellow, and green
Yeah, so green
collars.
Yeah, green color dogs are
I don't think
extremely
you have to
friendly.
explain that.
Okay, well, yeah.
Obviously, the red ones are the
The
aggressive
red
ones.
don't
Warning,
don't do it. Don't do
warning.
it. Warning. Yeah. So yeah,
That's a really good idea.
I hope that catches on and more people take care of the stray dogs because they need some help.
Yeah, so there are soy dogs, and of course they're going to hang around the markets. And when you're there, some people like to go and say hello to the dogs. And now at least you get a bit of an indication whether that dog is one that you should be approaching or not.
It's good to hear that people are taking care of man's best friend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take another quick break. Once we come back from the break, you can ask us questions regarding any of the topics today, as well as any questions you'd like to ask Tim,
We've covered... Why just me?
Jay,
Yes.
Carmel. Or Noom.
Yeah, you can ask Carmel
Or Shy.
questions.
Why is his phone going off 2 times
Yeah.
a broadcast?
Chai just wants to be on the program. He's looking at bar girl photos.
All right, we'll be back.
Chai, what are you doing?
Right after this. Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand. It's now time for live Q&A.
I just noticed here a quick note that Hong Kong is closing all its beaches from this Thursday, that's today, amid COVID-19 outbreaks. So there's certainly got somewhat of a crisis in Hong Kong with COVID at the moment for whatever reason, and I'm sure we'll know a lot more about it as we look back at what's happening there. They've got literally a crisis of COVID at the moment. And they're closing all their beaches, so not a good situation up there.
I saw a quick comment from Chocolate Man in Thailand and said, please don't forget to mention Animal Army. They spay and neuter program, vaccination, grooming and collaring.
Okay.
I believe they take
much
care
the
of
same
dogs.
as Soy Dog. They're called
Animal Army.
Animal Army, so they're obviously in the Pattaya area. And look, there are individual groups right around the country. We've supported Soy Dog Foundation since we started Thaiger, but there are other fantastic volunteer organisations around the country doing similar work to help control the soy dog populations in their communities. So thank you very much for bringing that to our attention.
Okay. Carmel, any questions?
Yes, I'm gonna address a question that was recently asked. It's from A. Dakin. I have been waiting for a reply on Thaiger Shop merchandise for shipping to the USA. I have filled out the form 4 or 5 times and still no reply. It's been over a week.
Okay,
What's up?
so all I can say is I'm not sure how you've sort of fallen through the cracks there. We've got somebody who actually follows all the orders and emails. So if you're able to send an email to info.thetiger,
info@thetiger.com.
no wonder, info@thetiger.com with your information. I'll get that to the manager and make sure they follow it up today. It is a problem with the overseas postage because there are so many different factors involved, including which country you are and what you order, that determines. So we can't list sort of the almost thousands of variations of postage charges. So we have to contact you individually and find out if you want it urgently or you're happy to wait a couple of weeks, and then we can work out the postage rate. But we usually do that within a day, just a couple of emails. So please send me an email straight away and I'll make sure that gets to the manager of the Thaiger shop.
Okay.
All right.
Now, before I give both of you the questions and comments, we have a question for Pinum. Are Tim and Jay the same off camera as they are on camera?
Asking P. Norm on this is dangerous.
Well, I can't say.
He can't
The same,
say.
they are same.
Okay, yeah, there you go. And
How are we on
question
camera compared
answered.
to... Oh.
Well, people might think that, there's a certain way to behave when you're in front of the camera. Generally, I'd say that we are like this off the camera. But
Yeah.
perhaps, sometimes when certain people make some certain comments, I might respond differently if they've made that in person.
Yes, you do. I think you're probably a little bit louder off camera.
Oh, yeah?
You're a bit more reserved on camera.
Oh, okay.
There I go. I've helped answer
Spilt the beans.
it. Why are they asking Num?
Oh, because you said that you could ask all of us.
Sure.
here.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right, keep going, Carmel.
Okay, Minbury BKK said, I agree with you, Tim. Thai food is some of the best in the world. Thai desserts, some of the worst. Very, very sweet.
Yeah, it's the things like the
Desserts are
all
meant
the
to be
beans and the round things and the jellies and the
Desserts are meant to be sweet.
mixed up with sort of sweet, sticky and gooey rice.
Don't
and
you enjoy a good cheesecake or chocolate cake?
Sure.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's not the sweetness that worries me. Look, it's just purely down to taste. And
The
I was-
visuals.
I was brought up with sort of one set of dessert type offerings.
I understand it,
And you get to Thailand and you look at it and go, whoa. But when you taste it, it's like really, really, really sweet. They go hard on the sugar.
Coconut milk and sugar, yeah.
Yeah, but look, obviously Thai people love it, and they're freely available. And it's just when you arrive here, that's a bit of a culture shock thing, and it's great to see that Thailand does literally have its own version of desserts that are very unique to Thailand.
Yep. Joseph Trakey says, "Is baseball played much in Thailand?" I've only played a little bit of baseball in school,
Yeah.
but on the streets in the parks, never. I've never seen anyone play baseball. Unless you have a couple of American friends who get together.
The only sport I've actually really played here is frisbee golf.
Really?
And we had this is back about 20 years, I suppose. We used to go. We had different teams around Bangkok, and we'd go out and play frisbee golf on some of the parks. That was really enjoyable.
Do you have some crazy frisbee skills?
I'm actually a very good frisbee thrower. I can do forward and backwards.
Is it an Australian thing? Because I know maybe I'm just stereotyping, but I know like. The
frisbees,
boomerang
I'm not going to
stuff.
claim that frisbees were invented in Australia.
My first ever souvenir in life growing up as a kid, was a boomerang. My dad travelled to Australia for some work, came back, he bought me a boomerang, and I was like, oh, cool, Australia, kangaroos, boomerangs. That's all I knew as a kid.
I can throw a boomerang, and mostly they come back if it's a proper boomerang, if you know how to throw it and how to catch it. But frisbees are a different thing altogether. But yeah, that's the only organised sport I played. I haven't seen baseball. One thing they don't do here?
What?
Curling.
Yes.
Even though there are a lot of really good cleaners here in Thailand that could probably out-clean any of the Canadian curlers, they don't do curling
Well,
here.
because they don't clean on ice.
No ice.
I threw my boomerang, it never came back.
I was going to say, how you still got the boomerang?
No,
or
it never came back.
It was a one-way trip.
Yeah.
Okay. Carmel.
Paisano said people wearing a mask in public is a joke.
Well, look, that at the end of the day, even if we've said this so many times, I'm almost sick of saying it or responding, but if people want to wear masks, they're well entitled to wear a mask if they want. Now, before COVID, there was always the annual, which we're sort of in the middle of it now, air pollution, sort of between late December and sort of April, when you got the bad air pollution, and people used to walk around with masks then. I wasn't really sure what value they were getting out of it, but they're well entitled to do it. When it comes to COVID at the moment, under the emergency decree, we are required to wear a mask in public and in certain situations. So I think you really just got to let people wear a mask if they don't want to. If you come to Thailand at the moment, in most cases you are required to wear a mask. And we know in many of the nightlife locations, we were down at Pattaya the other day, nobody was wearing a mask. Were we wearing our masks?
Yes. Not while we were in the restaurant and eating, no.
But I think when we were walking around, we still wore them. But we noted that most people weren't wearing the masks.
It's also because, once people reach a restaurant or the place that they want to be, they remove the mask as well. So it might also appear that literally no one's wearing a mask. But normally, I'm guessing the expats and foreigners who live in Pattaya might be wearing masks, and definitely the Thai nationals living in Pattaya wear masks.
I think you're being generous there, but whether it does anything or it doesn't do anything, when we're not clever enough to be able to give you an answer on that. There are papers that say masks work, and there are papers that say that they don't. Doctors and nurses still keep on wearing masks and will continue to do so long after COVID. So if you want to sort of attack the medical community for wearing masks while they do their work, well, you can do that as well. But here in Thailand, you are required to wear a mask in public at the moment until the CCSA announce tomorrow that you might be able to take your mask off in a park or on the beach, which I think would be very sensible, but that, at the end of the day, is up to them. Carmel.
Dimitri asked, Jay, are you sure that boomerang you threw wasn't just a stick?
Yeah. Was it actually shaped like a boomerang?
Yeah,
And did it have
Australia written on it.
Obviously a boomerang.
Yeah,
But
it was basically from a souvenir shop.
It has to, it has to be shaped. It's got to have.
like a
Well, not
like
only
a
like that
crescent
in
moon.
profile, but the actual the profile of the boomerang. It has to have sort of the thin side and the fat side, like an aeroplane wing, because it is actually designed, and you can change. I'm not going to go into boomerang.
It probably wasn't
science.
meant. I think it was just a souvenir that you
Just
keep.
put on your wall.
Yeah, but it had instructions at the back, like something like turn it at 45 degrees angle, give it a harder throw, and I went
And off it went.
and never came back,
Okay.
just like my past
Well, I'd say
girlfriends.
sort of user error, probably.
User error. All right, ladies and
Yeah. Well, have you ever thrown a boomerang, Norm? No.
on that boomerang story, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to end the show. We hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you have, please click the like button. 616 people. It's an all-time high for this week.
Fantastic. Great to see you, and thank you very much for joining us.
Right. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode as well. It's going to be a good one. Ladies and gentlemen,
Is
I'd like
it?
to- yes, it's going to be a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in thanking Tim Newton,
Thank you, everybody. A round of
Carmel.
applause.
Thank you.
Carmel on the comments, Num behind the buttons,
And Chai for sound effects.
and of course, Shy for sound effects. Thank you, viewers. We hope you have a great Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow.